Alright, so this is my very quick review of A Wrinkle in Time. This is the new Ava DuVernay film starring a bunch of A-list actors. It is an adaptation of this best-selling novel from the 1960s, and this is a very frustrating movie. I didn't like it at all. This is one of the most disappointing movies I've seen this year, unfortunately, which is a shame because I'm a big fan of Ava DuVernay. I think she's a brilliant storyteller, and I am so glad that Disney, let her make this big budget fantasy movie. I think this is the second time in the history of cinema that a woman director got to direct a film, this big. Patty Jenkins being the first person and the second person being Ava DuVernay with A Wrinkle in Time. And this is a very confusing movie. I think the narrative is all over the place. There are ideas in it that I really liked, but overall this movie is a mess. It's marketed as, this, family-friendly kids movie, and I don't know what kids are gonna take away from it. I mean, there are elements in the film that I think that will hit home for young viewers, but overall, this movie is a very strange, confusing movie. I saw the movie yesterday, and I'm still trying to, get my head around it. And I'm still trying to find things in it that I liked or that I admired. I think the ideas in this movie are very noble. What they're trying to do with this movie is very noble, and I liked the way it talked about the negativity and how fear and anger and insecurity, such negative powers, influence people and all that kind of stuff. I thought it was really well done, but everything around it, the story and the characters and just the overall narrative progression was pretty dull. The characters are pretty boring too. Everyone's talking about space opera. And those three characters played by Oprah and Reese Witherspoon and Mindy Kaling, I still don't know who they are. They are, I don't know, they're this strange figures who have this, superpower. I don't know. I really don't know who they are. And Storm Reed, the main girl, was pretty good, even though her character was very underdeveloped, underwritten. I know, people will, say, oh, well, you can't say that shit because you didn't actually read it. But I think the problem is the script. There are, a lot of the dialogue felt too on the nose. The characters say, things like, well, you can't give up. You can't lose your hope. Don't say that. And science, it's amazing. It does these things, and it's all great. It's like I get it. It's supposed to be a kids movie, so the dialogue has to be kind of on the nose. It's got to be something easy for young viewers to digest. But it felt very on the nose. Some of the performances were really bizarre. The kid that plays Charles Wallace, the brother of this young girl, the main girl, he was weird. His performance was weird. The words coming out of him was very weird, and maybe he's supposed to be precautious, and it just came off just really distracting. And Levi Miller is kind of wasted. I thought Chris Pine was good, the Oprah, Reese, Mindy Kaling, I thought they were kind of okay. Again, it all comes down to the script, and the characters were not written well. The dialogue felt really, didactic. I was really disappointed by it. It has some, visually spectacular moments. It's in the trailer. There's this green, the fairy, giant fairy thing, flying around. That whole sequence is amazing. It's awesome. It's visually spectacular. And I was like, wow, that's colorful. All the sequence with the flowers, it's amazing. Visually, it has, some eye-popping images in the movie that I liked. There are ideas in it that are very, commendable. But yeah, the overall story was a mess, and it felt like I'm not sure this is the director's cut, but I felt like there were things missing in the film. Like I felt like there was there was so much stuff left in the cutting room that may or may not have made this movie more cohesive, something more comprehensible. Yeah, this is a very frustrating movie. I wanted to like it, but I couldn't. This movie reminded me of Tomorrowland. All the mixed reaction I was hearing before seeing the movie reminded me of Tomorrowland, and I actually rewatched Tomorrowland before seeing this movie, and it's very similar, both thematically and narratively. They are both very ambitious, have very positive message, and have very visually spectacular moments and sequences. But the story didn't entirely come together at the end. And I think Tomorrowland is a better film than A Wrinkle in Time. I think it's more cohesive. The narrative is more cohesive, and yeah, I think Tomorrowland is a slightly better movie. And yeah, A Wrinkle in Time, I'm very disappointed by the end result. There were a lot of pop songs playing during some of the more emotional moments. I was like, why are you playing songs by Sia and Demi Lovato? Why don't you already this project already hired a pretty talented composer. So I was like, why not let him, write music for these scenes? Don't play some pop songs. The use of pop songs in this movie reminded me of Suicide Squad. Yeah, it's that bad. So yeah, I'm very disappointed. Yeah, it's a wasted opportunity. I don't blame Ava for this. I think she did her best. But yeah, I think the script was not that good, and I really want to read the novel now because I heard it's very different from the novel. The movie is very different from the novel, and there are a lot of things in the novel that weren't in the movie. So I really want to read the novel right now. But yeah, the movie itself, it's a very disappointing movie.